baby. Welcome in from Radio Row, New Orleans. The Ringer Sunday pregame on FanDuel TV, of course on YouTube, getting you ready for Super Bowl 59 with the wise guys. John Jastremski alongside Joe House, Raheem Palmer, cousin Sal. We have survived New Orleans, boys. We're ready for the Chiefs and the Eagles. Sal, a lot to chew on. I hope you had a Josh Allen MVP ticket. You would have brought that home then.
Chew on. I've chewed on enough. I did have Jared Verse. That was nice, right? Defensive Rookie of the Year. So that came through. I heard Lamar left early. Maybe he had bowel issues again. I don't know what happened, but
House, we missed an opportunity on unloading on Big Josh Allen. As the Commander fan on set, as you're wearing your Jaden Daniels sweatshirt, did you have a little extra glimmer in your eye knowing that Eli Manning's got to wait another year to make the Hall of Fame?
I don't care about Eli Manning. This guy right here, Rookie of the Year, was available at plus 600 on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Some of us advocated that before anything started. This guy right here, look at the cuz. We all made money on Jaden.
Good dude, too.
Hail Jaden. Hail Jaden Dream.
Oh, definitely held Jaden. I mean, he had an amazing year. But, I mean, Josh Allen, 9-1 on the MVP.
Oh.
I'm most proud of that. I think that's the biggest thing.
And think about these narratives, guys, with the quarterbacks. You have an opportunity to go and play them early in the year if you kind of can see the future. Josh Allen, Kansas City regular season game, unbelievable. Unbelievable against Detroit. That, to me, Raheem probably won him the award.
I think it was the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. He had the moment of the season when it's fourth down and he runs it into the end zone. To me, that was the moment he won MVP.
Guys, we have so much coming your way as far as getting you ready for Super Bowl number 59. We got props. We got all sorts of crazy specials. Are we going to get zany, maybe with the Gatorade or the coin toss or anything that FanDuel can throw our way? So we got you covered for Super Bowl 59. Before we get rocking and rolling, though, last time this year, it's a little bittersweet. Let's wise it up. So we have to wise it up and start with our regular season champion. Now, you are not a postseason champion.
No, not even close.
It has not been as bad, though, as last year in the postseason when you were dying for a win. Kansas City in the Super Bowl yet again, going for the three-peat, something they have never done, something nobody, for that matter, in the Super Bowl era has been able to do. Chiefs, Eagles, what are we doing?
All right, I think we'd all agree if these two teams played 10 times, it would be 6 out of 10 for one or 5 out of 5. But unfortunately, we have to pick the one game, right? And so I think if you think this is going to be a close game with 4 minutes left, it's betting malpractice to go against Patrick Mahomes. If you like the Eagles to run it away and we're bowing to Barkley after 3 touchdowns and 250 yards, take the Eagles minus 9.5. But with 4 minutes left, if this is close, look at these numbers you're up against. 17 one-score games in a row, 23 game-winning drives from Mahomes, 19 fourth-quarter drive comebacks, 7 for 7 in the playoffs in a game-winning drive. It's really, you're asking for trouble going against them. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid off a bye, the white jersey trend, all that stuff. Tay-Tay terrorist. I'm going with them. They're going to win this 27-22. I think it falls right around in that over-under area.
I have some thoughts on the side that we'll get to when I make my wisest wager, but I know this, Joe House, because I spent time with you doing East Coast bias. You are playing the Super Bowl a little differently than our guy, Cousin Sal, and what else is new? Giving us a tease.
Yeah, so I like the Philadelphia Eagles in this game, but I'm not willing to go against the Cousin Sal. I mean, there is value in playing exactly what he recommended, which is an alt spread for Philly, and it's got to be a big number. Go ahead and do it because that's the best path for Philadelphia. But I'm teasing the Eagles from 1.5 as underdogs up to 7.5, and I'm teasing the over now at 48.5. You can get that at 42.5. So the teaser is Eagles plus 7.5, over 42.5. I think these teams will score enough. You know, there is some clamor out there for the under 48.5, and the numbers move from 49.5 down to 48.5. But the Eagles piece is any kind of a close game, you want to have some buffer of over a touchdown is the way to play it. And, you know, what is going to happen in any football game, playoff-wise with the Chiefs, it's going to be a one-possession game, one-score game at the end. This is my preferred way to play it.
Raheem likes that teaser, the idea of the teaser at least. It covers all the key numbers, right?
Yeah, I definitely love it. Absolutely love it.
Now, Raheem, you are playing your wise wager a little differently, but it follows the script of something we've seen in every single Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl. What would that be How are you playing this game?
I'm going to play the Philadelphia Eagles on the first half on the money line. And I really love this play. First things first, I have the Eagles power rated higher than the Kansas City Chiefs. I actually think the wrong team is favored in this matchup. I have the Eagles -3.5 in this game. But as Sal said, as House said, you do not want to be betting against Patrick Mahomes in a very close game. I just will not do it. I refuse to do it. I've been saying for years and years, you don't get extra money, you don't get extra credit, and you don't get extra points for betting against Patrick Mahomes. However, I do believe the Philadelphia Eagles are the better team. They have the better running back. They have the better defense. Everything about this team is better except for the quarterback and the head coach. So to me, I'm going to play the script. As we've seen in all Patrick Mahomes Chiefs Super Bowls, they've been down in each and every single one of them. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles, they get off to a very fast start. I'm going to play them on the first half money line.
So, fellas, let's go back to last year. I was on the San Francisco 49ers. Let's go back 2 years ago. I was on the Philadelphia Eagles. You know what I am not doing? Betting against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I am done with it. I am over it. I am on Kansas City, Sal, because I'm sick of losing money on betting against this unbelievable coach-quarterback combo. And Raheem hit on something here. The Eagles do have the better roster. And if I'm playing Philly, you nailed it. It's alternate spreads. Play them at 6.5, play them at 9.5. But if the game is close, how can you honestly sit there and believe that Philadelphia is going to find a way to win a close game? I can't see it. And to me, with Mahomes and Reid, they got to the Super Bowl. They didn't have to go through Baltimore. They beat Buffalo again. They can smell it. They can taste it. They can do something that nobody has ever done before. They're going to find a way to get it done. I'm on the Chiefs. I'm not messing with the points. Wouldn't be surprised at a 1-point game. Playing them on the money line, Sal. That's the way I'm rolling.
You know, and I think it's good. And Raheem brought up a good point. You don't get any extra points for your I told you so moment if the Eagles pull it out. And not only that, JJ, it's a long off season. If it's in May and the Yankees are losing 6-2 to the Rays, you're like, oh, this sucked. And also, why did I bet against Patrick Mahomes? Now I got to live with that until September. I think it's a better bet.
Well, and for what it's worth, too, last year, San Francisco looked like the better team going in.
Yeah.
They looked like the better team. They were winning the first half. They were dominating the game. We know what happened. Philadelphia, you know, Raheem, they're a better version this time around than they were 2 years ago. But you go back 2 years ago, Jalen Hurts had arguably one of the best games by a losing quarterback that I've ever seen in the Super Bowl. No guarantee you're going to get that from Hurts again.
Exactly. I mean, they were up 10 points in that game.
Yep.
I mean, it looked like they were going to run away with that game, and they still couldn't put it away. Even if you go back to the Super Bowl last year against the San Francisco 49ers, 49ers got the ball first in overtime. And if they scored a touchdown, I mean, it's their game.
Right.
So it's just very tough to bet against Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not going to do it for the full game.
Guys, Super Bowl MVP. We know, traditionally speaking, it goes to the quarterback. Philadelphia, though, House, the way the odds shake out, the quarterback is not the number one favorite, and I think it speaks volumes to the year that Saquon Barkley has had. Is the correlation for you a Philly win, a monster day for Saquon?
It's literally that case, which is why I have Saquon Barkley as my preferred MVP at plus 250 on the FanDuel Sportsbook. And that is, to me, a more effective way of playing the Philadelphia money line. The alt spreads are perfectly fine, and that's a great way to play on Philadelphia as well. But look, you're up against some numbers here. A running back hasn't won MVP since Terrell Davis in 1998.
98.
On the other hand, Barkley, 30 yards shy of breaking Davis's record of combined regular and postseason rushing yards. So that's on his side. The true sort of wild card is sometimes MVP is an unexpected player. We've had a lot more of those kind of unexpected guys on offense and defense. So at plus 250, it's not incredible return for the risk, except the narrative is incredible. So I love Saquon Barkley plus 250 as MVP.
All right, you're playing Saquon. Sal, I'll get to my MVP pick where I tried getting a little cute because it's just more fun.
I
You're
know.
not interested in getting cute.
I'm
You're
not
just
bringing.
giving me the heads.
I wish I could give you more here, but it's not a sexy pick. Mahomes plus 120. You know, they love the quarterback in this situation. And if you look at it, even when he may not have deserved it, what did he have the last time against them? 182 yards passing. I know he had 3 touchdowns, 182 yards passing. So if you were going to map up a plan for an offensive player other than Mahomes to get it, I just don't see it. If Kelsey announces Sunday morning he's retiring after the game, maybe he gets some sympathy votes.
But you're not going to get that announcement from him before the game.
Not before, right? So
maybe after the game when he's dancing on the field and doing Get Down Tonight, you might get an announcement. You're not getting anything before the game.
Right. So Raheem probably is going to say something along the same lines probably. The only thing I'll say is if it's a low-scoring game, you want to go for a defensive player. FanDuel has that a defensive player will get MVP at 15-1, which is actually good odds because there have been 10 defensive winners in 58 years, which is about 1 out of 6. So 15-1 is good. I'm still going Mahomes.
See, Raheem, you also like Mahomes, but you mentioned this on our East Coast Bias show, and I think it's worth mentioning and bringing up here for the Ringer Sunday pregame audience. From a Philadelphia perspective, it's not necessarily your pick for Super Bowl MVP, but there's somebody on Philly's side who has juicy odds.
Yeah, I like Jalen Carter at 75-1. Now, it did come out that this week he missed practice a couple of days this week with the illness. So it gets a little scary there if you think he's just not going to be 100%. But at 75-1, I think Jalen Carter has the ability to wreck this game. Now, you know I do have Patrick Mahomes as my MVP, obviously. I mean, you're talking 7 out of the last 10 winners have been quarterbacks. It's very difficult to pick against a quarterback. But if you think the Eagles are going to win this game, I think because Jalen Hurts doesn't have the stats of a traditional, winning quarterback, I think another Eagle outside of Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley does have a chance at winning.
So it's interesting, guys. You make compelling, valid, rational points about quarterback and MVP. I get it. I understand it. However, we've seen Julian Edelman go and win a Super Bowl MVP. We've seen Deion Branch go and win a Super Bowl MVP. And Mahomes has won so many. Maybe there is a fatigue from a standpoint of, hey, there's a game script for this. He throws a couple of picks, but there's a fourth quarter comeback and Kelsey's in the middle of everything. Maybe he catches the game-winning touchdown. Maybe he goes for over 100 yards. If he has a game that kind of profiles like the Texan game 2 weeks ago, that's the shot I'm taking here. Do I think it's a great shot? No. I want it to be different and not give you Patrick Mahomes, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a world where Kelsey can go win this award just because of this kind of stature and persona that he has as a player, Raheem. Yeah. I can see voters, if Mahomes gets off to a slow start, maybe giving it to Travis.
See, it's tough for me just because I just think we're seeing now that voters are taking the word most valuable literally. They're not saying most outstanding player like we have in the past. They're saying who is literally the most valuable player. And no one can literally be the most valuable player but the quarterback because they're the most important player. But I understand where you're coming from. And if you look at Cooper Kupp, he won Super Bowl MVP
a couple years ago.
Yeah. He had 10 catches for 92 yards. Right. So if you get a ton of targets to Kelsey in what could be his last game, maybe you have a shot. But I'm not going to ride with you at all.
Well, and remember with that LA Super Bowl, Sal.
Yeah.
Kupp caught the game-winning touchdown.
Right.
So if you have a situation like that where, Kelsey catches the game-winning touchdown, we voted Mahomes a couple of times. The stat line's not great.
That's your biggest case right there. Edelman won because they got sick of voting for Brady. Brady could have won every year.
Listen, Brady had a crummy game.
They could have given it to him every night. Right, that's true.
One of the greatest catches
I know, right. That's a highlight forever.
One of the greatest catches you'll ever see, and Tom was getting his rear end beat in the first half of that game. He was bad.
But what I think is, and we remember, and you know what's great about living in 2025? Not a lot, but you could live bet the MVP. So remember Kadarius Toney.
Especially here in New Orleans, in Louisiana.
Kadarius Toney, who's now a punchline in the league, was having a great game a couple of years ago, right? A big punt return, big catches. Like, Mahomes is struggling a little bit. So, no, didn't matter. He just went right to the top.
If there's a defensive Kansas City player, it's got to be Jones, right, guys? It just has to be. Like, that to me, from destroying the line of scrimmage, stopping Saquon Barkley, maybe gets a sack or two. I'd love to go with a McDuffie. House, but I feel like they're not going to throw enough. I think it's got to be Jones.
See, I do think they are going to throw, and I think they're going to throw at the beginning of the game and try and knock that Kansas City defense off kilter. It could be the guy I'm looking at that's farther down the board is Jalen Watson. because his return to that secondary for the Chiefs has been enormous, and that is the thing that made them vulnerable for the portion of the season. They were getting thrown on for quite a bit. If that dude snatches 2 interceptions and one of them is, a pick six or puts them in territory where they can score late in the game, I could see something crazy like that. That might be worth, some beer money.
Oh, 100%. Is there a more obscure Super Bowl MVP? Is it Larry Brown or is it Malcolm Smith? Sal, Raheem, you're the Cowboy guys.
It's definitely Larry Brown. He basically, he had 2 interceptions just thrown directly at him.
Exactly.
He had a lottery ticket.
Right place, right time, and signed with the Raiders, a gigantic deal like 2 weeks later. It was perfect for him.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Malcolm Smith followed the exact same path. Got a big deal. I think also
Malcolm Butler? Malcolm Smith? Malcolm Smith. Oh, yeah, right.
By the way, kind of wild Malcolm Butler didn't win Super Bowl MVP.
You talk about plays that you'll never forget. Yeah.
Do you ever have like a big ticket? You've bet Super Bowl MVP, I'm sure, in the past. Is there one that you felt like proud of winning in the past?
Nothing big like that, but we have mentioned like 3. Carl Aftis could maybe win as a defensive player, but I think between us we came up with 5 names, and that's why I like the 15-1, and you get all the defensive players.
What do you guys feel about like guys like Quinion Mitchell or that Eagles secondary is scary?
They got a lot of dudes.
Let's just say Patrick Mahomes went out there and threw two interceptions to one guy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's very possible.
Well, and that's something that Philadelphia has to their advantage that they did not have 2 years ago playing this game. Their defense, to me, is so much more well-rounded in the secondary. I think it's better coached with Fangio. That said, though, Mahomes has seen the Fangio defenses a lot and finds a way to get
Isn't
it
he 7-0 or 7-1 against the spread against Fangio?
Including last year in the Snow Bowl or the Ice Bowl, whatever it was, against the Miami
When you were
Dolphins.
sunken in the couch.
I think I'm still superimposed for what it's worth. All right, guys, we transition now into some game props, Super Bowl specials. You can get involved with so many different things on the FanDuel side as far as betting this game. Now, I like what you're doing here, Sal, because the Eagles with the tush push, if they're in 4th and short, they're not punting.
Right.
They go for it. The Chiefs, I've noticed here in the postseason, have been a little bit more aggressive going for it on 4th down. You're playing a special with 4th down being in mind.
Both teams converted a 4th down play, minus 124. It just seems so low. In 5 playoff games combined, they've converted a 4th down. These are 2 of the 3 or 4 best teams on 4th down. Conversion rate of 70% plus. You're right. Mahomes doesn't do a quarterback sneak anymore because he got injured. But how about him rushing up to the line of scrimmage and bootlegging out there for 7 yards? Could have gone for even more. And the Eagles, we know what they've done. They have a play actually designed for this very specific prop. 6 in a row for the Chiefs converting a 4th down, 7 in a row for the Eagles. The offenses are going to have between 55 and 70 plays. You got to think that 1 or 2 of those is going to be a 4th down try and that they're going to convert.
I love it. And it's only laying minus 124 on the juice.
Right.
It's interesting. I saw the breakdown on this. The Eagle conversion for a 4th down is super, super juiced.
Yeah.
Kansas City, not so much.
Right.
So they're kind of like factoring that in.
Right.
You're not going to be laying minus 480 on the Eagles to convert.
No, you can't do it. Put them together. It's fine.
That's the way to do it. Okay, Raheem, you're playing the hits with this one. It has been a usual Super Bowl staple.
Yeah.
Second half compared to the first half, as far as what you get as far as points are concerned. How are we playing it?
Yeah, we're going to go with the second half, highest scoring half, minus 105 at FanDuel Sportsbook. I really love this one because if you look at Super Bowls, they historically start off very slow. And you can look no further than last year. 13 points in the first half, 34 points in the second half. And I expect the same thing in this game. So if you look at 14 of the last 20 Super Bowls, they've gone under in the first half. So let's go with second half, highest scoring half.
And I feel like, Raheem, this hits every year. You know, the first half, you got the long anthem, you got the 2-week layoff. I just feel like the rush factor is a real thing. And then these teams come out after whoever's performing at halftime. They're like, all right, let's go up and down the field.
Yeah, and then also you have the factor of one team chasing points and completely throwing caution to the wind by saying, look, we have to throw. We're not running the ball. Right. We're trying to win this game. So I imagine at one point in time, one or both of these teams will be chasing points, and you're going to see a lot more passing.
I also love the angle of the extended halftime, letting these 2 coaching staffs with an extra time to adjust to what they've seen.
Bingo.
I love this. I love this bet.
House? Long touchdowns. We love a long touchdown.
Speaking of.
Who is going to have the longest touchdown in the game?
This feels like cheating to me. I don't know why the price is only minus 118 for the Eagles to score the longest touchdowns, because I feel like the Eagles, I get 2 bites at the apple. Kansas City hasn't had an explosive run touchdown in years, it feels like. Certainly not this season. The numbers all back it up. Saquon, obviously, a threat to take it to the house anytime he touches it. This Eagles offense had a 25 or more yard touchdown in 12 of 17 games. If the Chiefs defensively try and play single high coverage, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are incredible against that. And the Philadelphia defense, number 1 in the NFL in limiting big plays. They've allowed a 25-yard or more touchdown in just 3 of 17 games since week 3. And number 1 in defensive DVOA against deep passing. I love the Eagles to do this, and I don't understand why the price is only minus 118.
Yeah, I love this one because you think about Kansas City. This is a methodical offense. The big plays with the Kansas City
12
Chiefs.
plays, 13,
That's what they do, and they're very successful at it. I don't think we're going to see like 40, 50-yard touchdowns coming from the Kansas City Chiefs, guys. I don't.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you look at the way the Philadelphia Eagles have limited, dominant offenses this year. Look at what the Cincinnati Bengals did. They didn't have a ton of explosives. Look at what the Baltimore Ravens did. They didn't have a ton of explosives. So why should this Kansas City Chiefs team have a ton of explosives? I think this is an amazing bet.
And remember, Fangio likes dropping those safeties back into coverage. Now, is he going to change that approach because of the way that Kansas City, likes to play offense? Maybe try to take away Travis Kelce over the middle. Maybe all of a sudden there's a bomb. I don't see it, though.
No.
To me, I see the Eagles hooking up on a bomb if Spags blitzes and they catch him with Smith and Brown.
You know what? Let's get House a kick return, opening kick for the touchdown for the Eagles. And get drunk on beef sliders the rest of the way. You're good.
Now, guys, I'm about to get very in the weeds here.
Oh.
I'm about to give you guys something that is real hard-hitting. It requires a whole lot of astute, top-notch analysis, perspective, you name it. My contribution, we're going right out of the gate. No, not the opening kickoff. No, not the opening series of the game. It's got a 50-50 shot. Heads and tails, Sal.
Oh, I love
Heads
it.
and tails. By the way, I have an idea for you.
Go ahead.
Next year on Radio Row, maybe we should have coin toss. It might be more advantageous for you with your face.
Okay.
After what happened with our girl Paige early in the week.
That was a little rough. I'm still a little woozy at that.
Have you survived the slapping of the Slim Jim?
I had to visit FanDuel has its own blue tent. It was a game time decision whether or not I was going to come on, but yes.
But you survived.
I survived. She'll get
and
hers.
you made it to the Ring
Yeah.
of Sunday pregame. Well, I'm going against the trend, though, with the coin toss. Heads has been hot. It's been really hot the last couple of years. That's coming to an end. Tails, baby. Tails never fails. It used to work for me all the time at Fagan's Flip Night at Syracuse. It is going to work for me in New Orleans. Flip that coin. Get me a tails. See, astute analysis, House.
Great job by you. It's amazing.
You taking my action?
It's literally the dumbest bet of anybody.
Well, you know why it's dumb?
That's
It's
why it's
embarrassing because you're going to be watching with people probably, right? And you're like, hey, shut up. I got to hear this, right? And sometimes it's hard. It goes fast.
Well, and here's
It
the
does go
problem
fast.
with the coin toss.
Yeah.
You find out who wins, but you don't necessarily know what they bet or what they pick.
You have
Did
to
they go
hear what they
heads?
do.
Did they
There's
go
a lot
tails?
involved.
It's either
right.
the greatest bet ever or the worst bet ever.
Now, when we're going through all this stuff, Raheem, I know you have your models. We had them throughout the year. For the props, do you get in the weeds with that, or is it more of a feel thing than anything else?
I think you can get into the weeds with it. I think you can go really, really deep into some of these props. And they even have the bridge jumper props. You mentioned one earlier with the Philadelphia Eagles converting a 4th down. I saw that as high as minus 590. So,
Right.
You can project the math on that. And, more often than not, the Eagles are going to convert that.
I have to say, House, we don't do a ton of props throughout the regular season. We were from time to time with our family meal.
Yeah.
The way the postseason has gone, I think I'm going to get involved with these markets a lot more. They're fun.
I'm already deeply involved. I can't wait to sit down Sunday morning and see everything that I bet because these 2 weeks, they're very dangerous. Oh, wait a minute. Time of possession for the Eagles? Oh, let me get a little something down on
Right.
that. Oh, hold on a second. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't really been targeted very much. Let me get down something on 2 catches for DeAndre. It just builds on itself. It is a suspenseful and fun game to play. Sunday morning, what does my menu look like? Over under 55 bets for me
Beautiful.
to come Sunday morning.
Now, did you lock most of these in right after the championship game, Sal, or Monday, or do you like
I
to
did
wait?
10. It's so funny you say 55. I'm right around there because it's the last freaking game we have to do. And we have like 8 hours before kickoff on the West Coast. But Raheem, who got juiced up the most? Which players? Kelsey, Hurts, Barkley, and Mahomes. Those would be the four.
No, Goddard's the guy.
Goddard more than
I was
anybody.
going to give Goddard props out. They're crazy now.
Goddard went from 47.5 to 51.5 and then got bet down to 50.5.
Right. All right. But Barkley, those others, they started off at a big number. Barkley, Kelsey.
Well, and here's my problem with Barkley. Do you want to bet the under with the way he's running?
No, you can never.
Normally, I'd say this is way too high. It's 110, 112 yards, automatic under. I'm not doing
It
it.
could be a couple
But
runs.
see, I mean, there's other angles to play. I mean, you can play first quarters under. You can play second quarter over. You can, flip things up because, FanDuel is really taking care of the better right now. They're allowing us to bet over-unders on every single quarter.
And you can live bet a lot of those players.
And then you could also play them head-to-head with other players.
Right.
See, I like
what
that.
A world.
One thing that we'll see, though, and it happens every year, Super Bowl week, there will be a guy that everybody's all over, one of the big stars, that will flop.
Yep.
I don't know who it's going to be, but Sal, between Kelsey, Barkley, Hurts, one of these guys is not going to cash all the props, and you're going to be sitting there saying, man, I chose poorly.
Kelsey crushed everyone 2 weeks ago, right?
But you know
19 yards?
what? I mean, every now and then you have a Super Bowl like Eagles-Patriots where
Right.
everybody hits.
Well, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Eagles
That's right.
Chiefs, up and down the field,
But then
up and
you
down the
could
field.
also have a Super Bowl like Rams-Patriots where it's 10-3.
Well,
All dead.
last year was not a great prop Super Bowl.
No.
Not a great prop Super Bowl. So
No, it was tough.
we'll see if Super Bowl 59 can help us out in the prop market. We have a lot more coming your way from New Orleans. The Ringer Wise Guys, Ringer Sunday pregame, the finale for the 2024 NFL season. We have our family meal we will put together. We will recap more of the shenanigans from down in the bayou right after this. Welcome back to the Ringer Sunday pregame here on FanDuel TV and YouTube. The Wise Guys ready to go for the Chiefs and the Eagles. The Chiefs going for the three-peat. We've never seen it in the Super Bowl era. The Philadelphia Eagles trying to win their second Super Bowl, trying to avenge what happened 2 years ago in Arizona. Now, we're in New Orleans, guys. That means we've had a lot of fun, a lot of great guests. Sal, you're getting slapped by Paige with a Slim Jim, but
That's right.
there's also been a lot of eating. And I mean a lot of eating. I feel like I need a diet. I need a cleanse after we get back from New Orleans. You took this eating with a certain someone to another level, did you not?
Well, we went to that level 12 years ago. House and I went to the Acme Oyster House, right?
did
And
it.
we behaved like animals, to be honest. And so when we came back, we owed them an apology. And we're like, you know what? We're not Neanderthals anymore. We're going to sit down and have a nice meal. And I think we have a little bit of it here.
Let's take a look.
Super Bowl begins. Come on.
All I'm going to say is, wow. I mean, first of all, I knew you could eat.
Thank you.
But you guys took it to another level. Where does this compare to the original Jailhouse? That's what I want to know.
I mean, we've grown up a little bit, I would say, but the food was still phenomenal. So we were incented to try and experience all of it and share it together. And it was a little bit less competitive, which made it fun, but still, we got to try all that New Orleans has to offer. Thank God for the Acme
By the
Oyster
way,
House.
don't sell yourself short. You guys were eating right there. We had a meal afterwards.
Oh,
and
I
the food
sure
kept
did.
coming,
And
man.
let me
This
take
guy.
it a step further. I never had the charred oysters.
So good.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
absolutely-
They were out of
with
this
the crab,
world.
little crab on
The crab
top.
meat on top of
just
it.
All I have to say is that Zion Williamson will be proud of you two.
Yes, he would.
I mean, y'all took it to the next level.
And now you see why Zion put on some pounds living down here in New Orleans.
Chance. Never.
Speaking of eating, guys, it's the last one of the year. We're saving the best for last. We have not hit a Ringer family meal all season. We've come oh so close. We've probably hit 3 out of 4 legs about 10 times. Better late than never. Let's cook up our final family meal. Guys, we got to hit this. We can
Come
do
on.
it. We're saving the best for last. Super Sunday. Sal, what are we bringing in the meal?
I thought we should have done a Pro Bowl parlay. We would have been right there with the family meal, but we skipped it. So we talk about zigzagging, maybe some unsung heroes in this game, and maybe some of these guys are all propped up and juiced up like a Travis Kelce don't hit. But there's a pretty good other backup tight end, second tight end for the Chiefs, Noah Gray. And I like to play his longest reception over 10 yards. Now, he hasn't hit this in the playoff games so far this year, but he has hit 12 times this year, 10 or more. So I think it's good. -110 is not bad odds-wise. Zach Ertz still catching balls in that Washington game. My God, what did he go, 10 for 104 or something? This defense is susceptible to tight ends. We saw Higbee had a 20-yard grab in that Rams game. So lots on Kelsey props. They're juiced all over the place. Noah Gray, capable tight end, 10 yards or more, longest reception.
I like it. You're always a sucker, though, for the backup tight end.
I know.
Who is the one? It was a giant. Was it Jake Ballard? Was it
Henry Hinoski?
Hinoski, that's who it was.
I don't even know.
I told that with you.
Yeah,
I remember that.
You
Was
did?
that a winner?
I think that was like my last winner of those.
I think it was a winner. Henry Hinoski, that's who it was. Well played in the second Giant Patriot Super Bowl. One of Bill Simmons' favorite games,
That's
of course. Raheem, you're looking at Xavier Worthy, tremendous wide receiver, rookie wide receiver. You're playing him differently, though. We're not talking receiver props. You're looking at rushing.
Yeah, I'm going to take Xavier Worthy over 5.5 rushing yards. If you look at this Kansas City Chiefs rushing offense, I mean, it leaves a lot to be desired. Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, they're both Larry Holmes status, flabby and sick. So somebody has to run the ball. And if you look at Xavier Worthy, he's hit this in 4 times out of the last 5 games. You're talking 30 yards, 10 yards, 10 yards, and 16 yards. So at some point, they're going to run a gadget play for him. It is the Super Bowl. So I think he probably hits this on, 1 attempt. So let's go over 5.5 rushing yards.
All right. I love that we're digging deep with these, giving us flashbacks to Hinoski.
Yeah.
You're throwing in Noah Gray. You're getting involved with a receiver, now running the ball. You also are getting a little exotic on me, Joe House. What's it going to be?
Yeah, I'm taking Samaje Perine over 7.5 receiving yards. Now, this might feel exotic, but it's really not. That's why we have fried alligator as the food of choice here, because we had a beautiful spread of that at the Acme Oyster House. And you know what it tastes like? Chicken. It was absolutely delicious. But look, Samaje Perine has at least 1 catch in 17 of 19 games. He's over this receiving total in 16 of those 17 games. Not that exotic at all. He has at least 13 receiving yards in 12 of his last 16 games. I love him to be on the football field, getting more snaps as a weapon out of the backfield here, as a way of Andy Reid to get his high percentage ball control, take pressure off that offensive line kind of script for this Kansas City offense. He only needs 1 catch to get over this. He did it in the AFC Championship, over 7.5 receiving yards, Samaje Perine, and some delicious fried alligator.
Oh, sign me up right now. Sal, I had a real hard time trying to figure out what I was going to do with these Kansas City running backs.
If you need more time, we'll give it to you.
I think, probably goes over that total.
Right.
But Pacheco's not the guy he was last year. Hunt is kind of up and down. I felt like I want to stay away from all these running backs.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's funny, they throw new stuff at us, like this next-gen stat. Have you seen this on FanDuel? You don't think it's going to catch on?
Let's get involved with that.
I like Raheem's guy Worthy. You can get like plus 300
on the next-gen stats?
I'm definitely in on it.
You're betting it?
I'm not betting it yet, but once I
gotta get it.
Yeah, when you get the edge, you share with me. But I'm letting the nerds figure it out.
You get the fastest guy on the field, Worthy, at 3-1 to record the fastest time.
But then I got to look at like all these analytics. And come on, man. It's simple.
You may not find out till Wednesday if you want.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. Guys, I'm not getting as exotic for our final pick in the family meal. I'm going with a guy who's got pedigree in big games, caught a winning touchdown in the national championship for Alabama, and has played very well in his matchups against the Kansas City Chiefs. Devontae Smith. I'm going back to the well. He's been good to me. I'm playing his prop at over 50 receiving yards. I think it's a good number. I think he hits maybe a home run ball in this spot. He also is capable of taking a couple of those screen passes from Jalen Hurts and breaking off 10 or 15 yards. I think 50 receiving yards with a lot of attention being thrown the way of A.J. Brown works to the advantage of Devontae Smith. I'm taking him over 50 yards. I think you like that, Raheem.
Yeah, I definitely like that. I mean, that was one of my favorites because if you look at how he's performed against the Kansas City Chiefs historically, 3 games, he's had like 99 yards in all of them. He's been absolutely dominant against the Spagnuolo defense, so I really like it.
Well, guys, our family meal is as follows. Noah Gray, long reception of 10-plus yards. Little roasted oysters. what do you call it? Oysters, roasted oysters. I'm in New Orleans. It's been too long. The oysters at minus 110. Raheem's got Worthy over 5.5 rushing yards, barbecue shrimp. We got Piran over 7.5 receiving yards, a little fried gator. And then last but not least, Jambalaya, Devontae Smith, over 50 yards. Little under 10-1, guys.
This is stupid enough that it might hit. Like,
Now
some
or
of these
never.
names are all over the place.
Now or never. Oysters, roosters, I don't know what the hell I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? We're going to win a family meal. We go from that to our Ringer specials, where the guys have been in the lab, bunch of contributions from a variety of different Ringer shows. I know, House, you got stuff up there. Raheem, you got stuff up there. Sal and I have stuff up there. House, what do you like there?
I'm riding with Todd McShay, known ball knower. I mean, who else knows ball better than Todd McShay? We're just going right with the hits here. Saquon Barkley and Travis Kelce each to score a touchdown, plus 260. Look, if McShay says it, then it's got to come true. I'm on it. I'm on McShay.
Barkley, Kelce, each to score, plus 260. Not bad.
Just play the hits.
I like that one.
Not bad. Raheem?
I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts, 28 plus passing attempts. If you look at 70% of the quarterbacks, they go over their total of passing attempts. I mean, because in the Super Bowl, you have one team chasing points, and you also, I think the Eagles are going to pass more than people think they will. If you look at the last Super Bowl between these two teams, Jalen Hurts had 38 passing attempts. So I think he's going to pass a lot more than people realize.
You got to hope your Eagles' first half doesn't hit by too much then, right? Like, you want to
I think
win by 3 or 6.
Yeah, you always got to worry about Patrick Mahomes. At
Sure.
some point, he's going to tie the game up, and
Well,
they're
that's the
going to be
thing.
chasing
Yeah,
points.
go up by 10, then you have less to worry about.
So, you know, I hate to give Bill Simmons credit.
No, you don't
I hate
have
to do it.
Don't break your
Man.
streak.
Why?
Don't do it.
But I have to give him credit. The Chris Jones to get a sack is a tremendous wager. This guy's put in so many Super Bowls. He's a big-time performer. You're getting that at plus 130? I'm in, guys. Chris Jones is getting a sack in this game. And Sal, one last time.
Yeah.
I know it's not the Steelers, but we're like adopting, morphing the Cousins Sal special for Super Sunday.
It's not the Steelers. Yes, this is usually reserved opponent first half, and then your team to win the game. Usually reserved for Mike Tomlin's wackadoo Steelers, right? How they put up points. But it's been pretty effective with the Chiefs, too. First off, last 2 Super Bowls, we've pointed it out a bunch of times, they were losing in half, won the game. This year, when they couldn't cover, they couldn't break 30 for most of the year, they were an ideal spot for the Sal special. Bengals, Falcons game, Chargers game, Broncos game, 4 times. You could have gotten it around 7-1 each time. That's like plus 28 to 30 units somewhere in there. And then minus the losses, you're a winner. It's paid dividends and applies to the sometimes starred Chiefs.
It's a great price. Great price. Eagles to win the half, Chiefs to win the game, 7-1. Sign me up. I'm playing it. Now, guys, FanDuel has Super Bowl squares. In case you're wondering, in case you're new to watching football and having fun on Super Sunday, you know these office pools, these bar pools, they put together, you get 2 numbers, you root, you hoot, you holler like crazy trying to hit a 1 and a 3. If it's 21-13, you win your money. Well, FanDuel has all of the combinations, the varieties of Super Bowl squares, and they price them out accordingly. So if you want to get nuts, you can get nuts. Go with a 2 and a 5. You're going to get a crazy payout. You don't want to get so nuts, you could go 0-0. You get paid, but it's not as nice. House, you have squares for us.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between. I went with the Chiefs 3, Eagles 0. Any quarter score, it's plus 450. That's 10-3. The Eagles at halftime. We get the first part of the Cousin Sal across the board.
Right.
We get Dreams, preferred play for the wisest wager. 20-13 for the Eagles. We're starting the third quarter. Here comes the comeback for the Chiefs. 30-23. The Eagles win this game outright. That could be another way to win. This is why I'm doing the 3 and the 0 Chiefs Eagles. That's it.
Hey, whatever works. Okay, Raheem, you go with a square number. That, by the way, would be very, very nice for me because the pool that I happen to be in, I have 8 and 4. So you're willing 8 and 4 for your boy?
Yeah, I'm definitely willing it for you. I'm going with 8 and 4, 8 for the Chiefs and 4 for the Eagles. That means 28-24 Chiefs, or if you get an upset, 34-28. So I think at 39-1, I think, that's a very common score.
So you gave us plus 450. You give us 39-1. Sal,
Go.
I respect it. If you're going to do these, you might as well roll the dice, have a little bit of fun. You're kind of going basic on me.
Yeah, I'm a pragmatist. You either root
You
for everything or root for
pragmatist?
nothing. Yes, I am. I'm pragmatist.
Really?
Me and Johnny Sack. Listen, I'm going 0-0 plus 310. We've talked about the slow starts in some of these Super Bowls. We're 45 minutes in the game. Like, what the hell happened? These are the two best teams. If you get 0-0 after one, it's plus 310. 14 times the first quarter of the Super Bowl has ended 0-0. That's almost 25% for the last 9 Super Bowls. And I'm just talking first quarter. If you get 0-0 for the game, 20-10, 30-20, 10-10 at any point. House, what else would work for 0-0?
All of those.
But give me one more.
0-0.
Oh, for God's sakes. I don't think that's right. Our producer Jack.
He learned that math at Holy Cross.
Wow. He's really good. He's really good.
Guys, I'm taking a long shot here, too. I'm going 3-1 because I think Kansas City's going to kick a bunch of field goals in this game. Bunch.
Oh, man.
And I think the Eagles scored 3 touchdowns. Let's go Kansas City 3, Philadelphia 1. 27-1, Raheem. Not as juicy as yours, but pretty good. 27-1.
So what is that, 23-21? 23? Now I'm going, what would it be? You need a 21 in there, right? If you got one? Yeah.
That's the key.
Right.
You need 3 touchdowns from the Eagles. That's it. No more.
Yep.
No 2-point conversions. That's
No
the scary
2-point
thing.
conversions, no field goals. They get in, they score touchdowns.
31's okay, too. Yep.
Yeah.
Good luck with those Super Bowl squares. So we gave you the family meal for Super Sunday. Now it's time to give you the family meal on steroids. It's the Super Bowl Sunday. And if you remember from watching the Ringer Sunday pregame throughout the season, we gave out some long shot picks. They ended up being the super hot fudge ice cream sundae, which you destroyed.
Yeah.
And we never ate it again, Sal. So it was one and done.
We'll get it back.
So no ice cream for us on the show. Instead, we have long shot picks. Here's the rules. You have to contribute something that is greater than plus 200. You can start us off.
All right. You brought up Devonta Smith. I think it's a great pick. If all my Chiefs bets go down, maybe this is the unsung hero-ish on the other side. Raheem added some stats and trends. 70-plus yards. That's adjusted number, plus 225. He's been tough for playmakers. It's been tough for playmakers to figure out how to beat Steve Spagnuolo's defense. Not this guy. Raheem brought it up. 122 yards, 100 yards, and 99. Those are his 3 games against the Chiefs and Spagnuolo. You adjust it 70-plus is plus 225. You can go plus 630 for longest reception for him. You can go 7 or plus catches for plus 360. But I'm taking 70-plus reception.
Loading up on Devonta Smith. I like it. I think he hits that number. Plus 225. Good value. Raheem, Dallas Goedert was a big topic of conversation earlier in the week because, hey, tight ends have had success against Kansas City. Dallas Goedert's been very good to us this postseason. His numbers have been jacked up a little bit here. You're jacking them up, though, to your advantage.
Yeah, I'm definitely jacking them up. I'm taking Dallas Goedert, 70-plus receiving yards, plus 238. You mentioned the Chiefs. They struggled to stop tight ends. They've given up almost 1,200 yards and 106 receptions. And Dallas Goedert, since week 18, he's had at least 47 receiving yards. And he's just been dominant. You look at last week against, 2 weeks ago against the Washington Commanders. I'm sorry, House, but he absolutely dominated. He had 7 receptions on 8 targets for 85 yards. I see no reason why he can't do that again against the Kansas City Chiefs, who can't defend tight ends.
Okay, House. This one's nutty, and I like it. You need to make the case for me, and I think I know where you're going. The game is going to be played inside, so what does that mean?
That's it. It means long field goal attempts. And you guys both, and as we all went through our squares analysis, we're talking about outcomes where field goals are going to figure in prominently. One of the underrated storylines with the Chiefs in particular, they have so much faith in Butker that they will go ahead. They might not be as aggressive in terms of 4th down conversion, especially the first part of the game, because they're fine with trotting Mr. Butker out there to take on a long field goal attempt, especially in these controlled conditions. The reason I like this bet at plus 470 is because Jake Elliott has been on the disfavored list because he's been missing, but he's missing outdoors. Yeah. He's missing in Philadelphia. His kicking this acumen this season, inside versus outside, big split. So I like the idea of one of these two teams going for it. And if it's a late game situation, it could be a game winner at this yardage.
The problem with Elliott, though, when in doubt, Philadelphia might be like, let's keep the offense on the field. Do we trust them to go and hit a 55-plus yarder? But you know what? At the end of the half, hey, got to go run them out there. That's where you can bring pay dirt home.
You know what's weird with that? For a team that goes for it, it's seemingly on 4th and 1, 4th and 2 every time. Elliott, I think, has gone 7 or more points in 7 of the last 9 games. So it's weird that he
stole
puts
down
the
a couple of
together.
drives.
I mean,
That
he
happened
put
in a
up
couple of these
55
games.
points against the Commanders.
Right. So that was going to happen. Right.
Guys, I'm looking for a narrative. DeAndre Hopkins has a borderline Hall of Fame career. He's had some tremendous seasons. He comes to Kansas City, has a big first game against, I believe, Tampa on a Monday night. Didn't do much the rest of the year. He hasn't really done much this postseason, but it's his first chance to play in a Super Bowl. I feel like guys like that rise to the occasion. It's a dart throw. I'm getting crazy odds on it. DeAndre Hopkins to score a touchdown in this game is at plus 650.
Wow.
Throw him a fade, throw him a jump ball, use him in those red zone situations. Plus 650 for this guy with his pedigree. I'm taking a shot here, House.
I love it. Why wouldn't you? I think it's exactly the kind of thing, that wrinkle that the Chiefs love to cook up at this time of the year. They may have deliberately under-targeted him through these playoffs for this moment. That's the dude you want to have, targets directed at, the guy with the classiest hands on your football team.
Okay, anytime touchdowns. We have not really given them out throughout this show.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of success nailing these. To me, Hurts is an obvious one, right? I almost feel better about betting Hurts to score a touchdown than Barkley because I know if they're on the goal line, Raheem, he's getting the push, man.
Yeah, FanDuel actually has an interesting prop. They have a prop where you can bet the shortest touchdown.
Yep.
1.5, right?
Over or under 1.5. And I think Jalen Hurts might break that.
So here's the thing with that. If you bet that prop, talk about numbers that move. It opened at minus 170. It's minus 2.25 now.
Ooh,
so you might just be better off taking Hurts.
Yeah.
But that prop specifically didn't hit last year. It's hit like 8 of the last 9 previous before that. It's a fun one.
Okay, anytime touchdown. Give me a guy, Sal.
I think this is a game where you could take a bite. First of all, I like Goddard. I like everything you're saying. I like Hopkins because he has a ton of playoff games under his belt, right? So that's the kind of thing. But look at some of those 30 to 40 to 1 odds, guys, because this is where you don't sit on trick plays, right? You're not taking them in to the summer with you. So maybe Andy Reid gets weird with a Philly special of his own and Mahomes catches a touchdown or something like that. He might really want to stick it to the Eagles. I would just look in that 30, 40, 50 range for a anytime touchdown for a guy you're not expecting.
Juicy. House, anybody stand out to you other than Barkley?
I mean, you got to play Hurts. It's minus 115. It's near even money. They get inside the 5-yard line, and it's Hurts time. So, I mean, having him in your portfolio for an anytime touchdown, to me, it's
low.
mandatory. It's
so
just
weird.
mandatory.
Yep.
Raheem?
So I have 2. I like A.J. Brown at plus 175 because he's proven to be a big red zone threat. And also like Dallas Goedert. And I also would recommend both of those on the first touchdown because A.J. Brown is at 11-1. Dallas Goedert is at 18-1. And I do think the Eagles are going to get off to a fast start.
I like that. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't have this in front of me, so maybe we can look it up between now and the end of the show. I think A.J. Brown scored the first touchdown 2 years ago in the Super Bowl.
Wow. How about that?
I think he did.
History has a way of repeating itself.
I think he did. I like A.J. Brown for an anytime. I don't like his yards prop. I'm staying away from those.
It was Jalen Hurts. Should I correct you? Or
yeah, you can. Okay. It was Jalen Hurts. He ran it in.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, though, did score a touchdown.
He got their second one.
He scored their second touchdown.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Listen, you know what it is? I bet him to score the first touchdown.
You didn't see the first quarter. You got in late.
Oh, yeah, I got in late. Yeah. I decided to play golf in Arizona
Right.
instead of watching the Super Bowl. Will you get involved in the first touchdown market? I love it. I think it's a great bet.
Yeah, it's good. Listen, you got to hit all these, right? Like I said, don't leave anything on the table. But this is where I think you can maybe go for Kelsey or someone like that. But again, Mahomes to run it in, something weird happens. I like the big numbers on those guys, too.
So, Super Bowl 59, the Chiefs going for a three-peat. The Eagles trying to stop that three-peat. Side, total. Sal, you're taking the Chiefs over under.
I'm taking the Chiefs. I have it 27-22, so it's really whatever it closes, right? So I'm kind of throwing the side to the side. But we're going to go over keys to the game, or should I save that?
No, you saved that.
All right, I'm
you
gonna
saved
save
that.
it.
I wanted the total. Right now, you're leaning over.
Yep.
You're taking gut feel, Chiefs.
Okay, I'm taking Eagles first half,
Chiefs to win.
Chiefs full game,
Plus 700.
There you go.
I am not making a play on the full game total, but I will give you the second half over 23.5.
I like the sound of that. And if you had to make a play on the side, you're taking the Eagles.
Yeah, I have a ticket on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl at 17-1 that I bet at the beginning of the
It is
NFL
juicy,
football
as do
season.
I.
Yeah.
So,
That was a family play.
That's right.
It's still going down in
That's
flames because
exactly
it's
right.
the Chiefs. Trust me.
But there's
I've been
lots
there,
of
done that.
hedges out there. And in terms of the total, I like the first half under. I like the first half under total as a market to jump into. I just think these two teams are going to come out. It's going to be some kabuki theater, right? They're going to be matching moves. It's going to be kabukis with sumos, right? The guys on the front in the trenches. I blew it. It's fine.
Weird that you're right with the first half. It stays under typically, and it should be inspired by the great anthem and the fighter jets overhead. But it's really going to be Kendrick Lamar is going to get everybody pumped up to score in the second half.
Yeah,
It kind of works that way.
It always works that way. And I mean, everybody's going to be pumped up except for Drake.
Right, that's true.
I don't think Drake's going to be too happy. I don't think so.
He's not watching.
I'm taking the Chiefs, as you guys know. I'm also taking the under in this game because I do think you're going to see these offenses at times stall out, which is working to your favor. I think it's a big day for Butker. He's money in these Super Bowls and in these postseason games. Don't be surprised he ends up with 2 or 3 field goals. I like the under and I like the Chiefs. Now, I am thinking about waiting on this, Raheem, because as we sit here Friday on Radio Row, there is a chance the Eagles end up a favorite by kickoff. You think that's the case?
It's tough. I think all of the sharp money is going to be on the Eagles because, like I said, my model makes the Eagles 3-point favorites. My model tends to align with the market. But there is so much square money out there. And if you look at the pedigree of Patrick Mahomes' Kansas City Chiefs, who wants to bet against them? We're all scared. Everybody but House is scared.
I am, because I've been here the last 2 years fully convinced the other team was better. Like, you're going to make the point, hey, Philly's got a better roster. They do. They have a better offensive line. They have a stud running back. They got 2 great receivers. They got unbelievable players in the secondary. They got a loaded roster. But, Sal, I felt that last year with the Niners. I felt it 2 years ago with the Eagles. I'm not doing it again.
He was hopping around. Remember, it should have been in a walking boot leading up to some of those games at almost halftime. Like, we don't know if Mahomes is even going to come out. And he was better than ever in that Eagles game.
I would love to see a documentary of bettors who bet against Michael Jordan in the 90s.
Right.
I mean, you look at the New York Knicks.
I mean, I rooted against them.
They won 27 in a row at the Garden. They were up 2-0 on Michael Jordan and then lost 4 straight.
Right.
I feel like we're watching history repeat itself through Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Biggest X factor for this game, Joe House.
So I love the Philadelphia defense. I love especially the defensive line. And what that translates into for me, and this is a prop that I've been sitting on, is Zach Bond having an incredible game. A game-changing kind of game because he is able to be an inside and an outside guy. He will be all over the football field. And if we're looking for an X factor, I think it comes from the Philadelphia defensive side of things. And I think that Zach Bond's going to be out there. I'm on all his overs for tackles, assists, or whatever combination you can get for that. Go get it because I think that he is going to be out there having a hell of a game.
Sal?
So when the Chiefs win, it's 3 things, right? It's the referees are first, always first. It's ridiculous. Mahomes second if you get to it, and Spagnuolo third. And I think he's done such a great job with this team. This is a Chiefs team that's been winning and scoring 27 points or fewer all year long, even for a couple of years now. And I think the key is he has to have consecutive drives where Barkley doesn't do anything. He has to force Jalen Hurts, who was better than I thought against Washington. Sorry. He did convert a lot of 3rd and 6s. You got to let that guy beat you. And I think that's going to be the key. I think he's going to do that.
Raheem.
The X factor is Harrison Butker. I've been playing.
You guys are all over my X factors. I love it.
Over and over and over again. He's going over his kicking total in 7 out of the last 9 postseason games. Let's play him over 7.5 kicking points. Let's play Chiefs over 1.5 made field goals. And the other X factor is Patrick Mahomes using his legs. Let's go over 5.5 rushing attempts.
Guys, listen. Spags in these big games has developed a reputation that's going to have him in Canton, Ohio. That's how good he's been.
Yeah.
And I expect a brilliant defensive game plan from the Chiefs. Jalen Hurts, to me, is the X factor in this game because there are going to be big plays for him that are available. He made them in the game against Washington 2 weeks ago. If Philadelphia is going to win this game, we're going to talk, hey, Saquon Barkley this and Saquon Barkley that. Jalen Hurts is going to have to hook up on a couple of these bombs and is going to have to be able to convert to A.J. Brown, convert to Devontae Smith, and they got to finish drives. Because I'm telling you, if the game is close, do you feel great about Jalen Hurts? No knock on him. He's a solid quarterback.
His passing prop is 211. Are you going over or under?
I'm going over because I think he's going to hit on a couple of those bombs.
Okay.
I do. I think they will be available to him. I think he goes over that prop. I do.
He's got to throw 28 times, like you said. He can't have this thing where he drops back 18 times. That's the only thing, right?
Yeah.
Boys, the
Is that it?
Ringer
Oh, my God.
Sunday pregame.
Wow.
Can you believe this is it? Next
We'll come
year.
back.
You're
Yeah.
worried about coming back, Sal?
We're on with Santa Clara next year?
Yeah, then
We'll get
San
there.
Francisco,
boy.
the Super Bowl.
Back
Yeah.
on West Coast time.
Yeah,
Lucky you.
baby.
There's good food.
Let's do it. Very
Another-
good.
I've
another
never
great
been to Santa
food
Clara,
town.
San Francisco.
Oh, you're going to love
Get
it.
ready. The Chiefs will be there again. Spoiler alert. Get ready. It'll be the Kansas City Invitational at the
Let's
Super
do
Bowl.
another hour on the 2026
I'm
Super
giving you a
Bowl.
hot take. If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, they will not be back next year.
They will not.
That's my hot take.
That's a hot take. It doesn't feel very hot. The first team in history to three-peat
So there won't be a four-peat,
isn't going
is
to
what
be
you're
there
telling me.
available
There
for
will not be.
four-peat.
Raheem,
Way to go out on a limb.
4-peat.
They might not even make the playoffs next year.
Whoa.
Hey, okay, now we're talking. That's cooking
Raheem
a little bit.
leaving us with an absolute bang. Fellas, it's been an absolute blast from New Orleans. It's been an absolute blast all season. And Joe House, by the way, it is now a requirement. You have to be at the Super Bowl every year now.
Well, it goes
Non-negotiable.
without saying. The part that I like the best is that after we're done, I get to go give all of our incredible crew a big hug for the job they did this season because they crushed it and they
They
helped
don't
us
want
look
that.
good.
You haven't showered in 3 days.
No,
Just
wait.
tell them that. Give them a
man.
thumbs up.
I have
That's
great
it.
hugs.
Okay.
For all the crew, Jack, Chris, Mikey Meatballs, everybody at FanDuel, FanDuel TV, YouTube, we thank you. For Cousin Sal, Raheem Palmer, Joe House, JJ John Jastremski, we're signing off. Enjoy Super Bowl 59. And the Wise Guys will be back on the Ringer Sunday pregame. Week 1, 2025 will be here before you know it. And trust me, I'm going to be sleep deprived. We out. Be good, everybody.